to work today after a long weekend. The good thing about a bank holiday weekend is you get a nice 4-day week, but it's the wrong way around. I don't like having a Monday off because it feels way worse than having a Friday off, because the week still feels the same length, but it's not, it's shorter. It's like a weird psychological trip that you get. Because every day you just think it's Monday, or the day before it is, and then all of a sudden it's not the end of the day, but by the time you've got to the end, you realise it's the end. Does that make sense? Looking at two cats sat on the shed, and I'm contemplating heading on out to go and say hello to them, but I think that they'll just run away from me. So the office was super quiet today. Everybody, two people off ill. I say off ill because one of them was working from home, working ill, and the other one was just off. And I think the other person's on holiday, so there's just two of us for our team. And it was just a head down. Oh, I see, they're already moving. Hey, buddy. How you doing? Told you those cats don't like me. They often sleep up there. I often go and try and say hello, and they often just run away. I need like a treat or something. Oh, Laura's twig's fallen down. Wait, where was I? There's a lot of things falling down. It must have been very windy last night or something. I was saying something, yes, it's super quiet today. Super freaking boring. But that's life. I think we've got a retrospective tomorrow or something. But for like the last project, which we've now completely finished, even though we haven't completely finished it. But yeah, today was just forging ahead with something else that we haven't fully refined yet, but I know what I need to do, so I'm just racing forward. While I was doing that, someone else was trying to get my microservices deployed into Kubernetes. I think he finally realised that the issue was with his stuff and not my stuff, after me pointing that out to him on Thursday. But we're there now, so he's got it working, thankfully. Got the API aspect up and running. He just needs the consumer aspect of it running, and then we should be laughing. But otherwise, that's by the by, because I am home nice and early, and I'm about to do this week and next week are going to be a pretty big week for me, for reasons that I'll probably go into next week. I'm just like at the press. I'm here. I've got a big old boulder, and I'm about to give it a push. And I'm just starting to just get a couple of rocks rolling. What's that phrase? Get a couple of balls rolling, you know. There are a couple of boulders that as soon as you've got them rolling, they're not going to be able to stop rolling. So it's a bit daunting, but I just need to do it, you know. Truth be told, I bottled it a little bit. I was on the precipice with the boulder, and then backed out after doing a tiny little bit more research. Maybe that's not the best boulder to push. We'll find out though. I'm going to see if I can get to work nice and early tomorrow and leave nice and early, because I got to work nice and early, then I can I'm going to try and swing by and talk to someone on the way back home. But yeah, otherwise just had dinner, and I've just finished off, I finished it off at work today, but I finished off the deployment and whatnot of my Azure function. It's now working, it's all Gucci. I'm going to sit downstairs and I'm going to do some blog writing, because there's a couple of things I want to write about in this blog, but I want to make sure I can Google it, and I can't Google it at work because I'm on my laptop and I'm not on the Wi-Fi. I feel like I should do some programming, but what I might do is I might stay up a bit tonight and then do a little bit of programming. I need to add a button so what I need to do for tomorrow is I need to add a button to the web. I don't have to put a button on the web, that's not on my to-do list. But the easiest way to test it is by putting a button on the web, instead of doing it via the API. And then, more importantly, I need to add it so that it creates the two events that the webhook listens to. And then what I'll do is I'll use the UI to link it, raise a PR, and then in theory my webhooks will kick in, which will be awesome. It'll be a nice end-to-end test. But it's somewhat... I don't think it's very code intensive. I think I literally just need to whack a little line in config and it'll just do it, because of fucking how cool and clever I am. But you never know with these things. Yep, you just extend the configuration, automatically whips through, automatically links everything up. That's good. There's a couple of things I've noticed which are a bit odd. I've got a bug with, now that the UI is using it, like when I'm just calling the API effectively and debugging it, I'm only really calling it like once or twice. And because I'm on a service, I'm in Service Fabric, I've got 5 nodes, So I've got 5 apps running, picking up my requests. But I've noticed that if you are like debugging the UI and the UI is like refreshing loads and loads and loads, it starts to get to the point, it starts to throw errors in the back end. So I've got a problem I need to fix there. It's to do with reusing HTTP clients, I believe, because I'm doing some caching. I shouldn't be, not actually caching. I think it's my delegating handler is being, it's because I cache the client so that I don't have to re-authenticate as you bounce around all the servers effectively, so it like keeps your session kind of, but anyway, that's causing me problems. I'm going to have to look into that. All I need to do, really, I've got the button, you click the button on the front end. I need to tidy up some UI stuff. I just smashed it on there to see if it worked, because I wasn't planning on staying up this late, but I ended up staying up this late as I was debugging stuff. The UI a little bit less ugly. See if it's worth displaying any other information, because at the moment I've just got like repository name and a button. So the button does what it's supposed to do. I need to investigate and or raise issues, tasks to do things. So I need to extend the delete process so that it actually goes in and rips out the service hooks. Things like that, which I hadn't really considered. So I've got a little list of things I want to do, but fucking productive. I fucking love it when I sit and write some stuff and I'm like, it's going to take me like an extra 10 minutes or so to do this now. Or I'm like, I need to make this thing, I only need it to work with 1, but I can imagine a world where I need to work with 2. Let's make it a list and then we'll just deal with it. So every now and again you have to write 2 or more tests to make sure that it handles empty lists or null lists or whatever. Then when it comes to just open up the config, smash in another value, and it just bloody works. Oh, beautiful. So yeah, the Azure function is done and merged now, so I've merged it in. I need to, tomorrow I'm going to focus on finishing up the UI and the repository service, get them merged, hopefully, and then at lunchtime, and all today, when I'm not doing that, I'm looking up, writing my tech blog. It's going quite well, so I'm enjoying that. I was writing that while watching TV with Laura. Well, actually, I was looking up boulders and how to roll them, and I feel like I don't need to roll that boulder. I think I'm backtracking a little bit, and writing that little blog post. It's about, what's it about? Ooh, secret.
Raining again, holy shit.
Upstairs, when I record those clips of it raining, I'm sat on my laptop doing some work, and it hammers it down. Basically upstairs there's like a kitchen and a conference area and a couple of like tables for meetings and stuff, but if it ever rains at all, because basically half the roof is like corrugated plastic, then all meetings are just off, because there's no way you can do any kind of meeting up there with it raining like that. But it was particularly torrential rain. I thought I looked weird today as I forgot to gel my hair. I was in such a rush to get out as quickly as possible in the morning that I completely forgot to gel my hair and then spent the entire day looking like a dick. But I needed to leave work early to go to a meeting after work, which is effectively scheduled another meeting in 2 weeks' time. It's actually a pain in the ass, but this weekend, but the weekend after, massive pain in the ass. Basically just misses the entire point of why I kind of wanted the meeting. But it'll be interesting to go to anyway. Words. Yeah, so today it's been a pretty fun day. We had a couple of sessions where we were talking about, we had refinement session, which overhang by an hour because I railroaded it. But we've made some really big changes. Supposedly, we have commitments to make really big changes. The way that we work, because I basically was like, yo, this is all waterfall. It's not agile at all, and we're complaining because we're expecting agile results from something that's waterfall. And equally, we're not prepared enough to do waterfall. So we need to pick a side here, and I know I'd prefer to go on the agile side. But the interesting part of all this is, effectively, I'm relaying, as the new person, I'm relaying all of this stuff for effectively the first time. Like most people in the team, like raise concerns and things, but I feel like it's been beaten out of them to stop caring. And effectively, like the top of the funnel, where we get all of our shit through, is like heavily guarded by effectively my manager. Is he my manager? He's above my line manager, but he's technically my manager. Like the head of IT, basically. Is that his title? Probably. It's like, it's really interesting because he came to me after and was like, we don't need to go about meetings like that. Like, don't have to be so emotional or emotive, which I think is like a tactic that people use to belittle an argument, is to just say it's an emotional argument rather than a thinking argument. But it's what's interesting about it is we both have the same tactic in discussions like that. I use that tactic because it's the only one that works on him. So it's like we have these discussions, and I watch, because when I first joined places, I like to sit back and watch things happen. And this guy's really good at like flippantly like disregarding people's comments, and then if they like fight back or continue and don't just go, oh shit, like someone really senior has just kind of disregarded my comment, which most people do, then he'll just like railroad them and they'll just get steamrolled. The problem is I'm really difficult to steamroll. I'm a bit of I'm like a dog with a fucking bone, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I've got this thing, I know I'm right here. I know that there is a problem here that I'm trying to solve, and effectively you're the person that needs to solve this because it's far enough up the funnel which we can't affect. And it was a really like interesting meeting because we effectively finished it, and basically the whole team was like, thanks for like spearheading that for us. And I'm like, no fucking problem, guys. Like, we're trying, and I say to other people, like, don't let me steamroll you just because I'm steamrolling him. Like, I want an environment where everyone can feel free to talk and bring up discussions and points without being battered aside. But to get past someone who's batting you aside and trying to steamroll you, you effectively have to steamroll them instead. And I don't want to steamroll everyone else. I want to steamroll him. Yeah, so we've changed. Oh yeah. So what I was saying was, interestingly, he came to me after. He came to me after and said, like, we don't need to, like, we effectively didn't need to do things as negatively as that. And I'm like, no, let me be really brutally honest with you. I do that to you because you do that to other people. And then we had like this little chat after, which I feel like he came over to try and say that I only won that because I bullied everyone else into agreeing with me, which is odd. When your tactic is to bully everyone else into agreeing with you. Even though literally no one else, but anyway. It's really interesting because other people are really quiet. Like the other two people in my team, well, one less so, but one is really, really, really quiet, and he's like the team lead. And he's the loveliest, nicest person you'll ever speak to. But he's quiet, and therefore he observes and he like listens and like tries to and takes everything on at like face value, but doesn't like engage with stuff. I don't mean that mean. I mean like you need to have a certain like brainwave where you take something in and then like analyze it in your head and then like go back. But he's the kind of person who'll take it in, go away and come back. Whereas you need to be quite quick to be like, what you just did there was try and subvert what I'm trying to say, really. Anyway. But it's really interesting watching people like him and this other guy who's a bit like me but has been beaten down more so than I have. Watching them like kind of pipe up and back me up effectively. Because we have two projects that we've ran that have both fallen victim to the same problem. And I'm like, it's because we're doing this waterfall. We're pretending it's agile and it's not agile. So basically you're going, hey, I want to give you as much information as you need to get it done in an agile manner, but waterfall. That's effectively the problem. Is that like, here's the least amount of information we could possibly give you to start, but we want you to, out of that, produce everything that you possibly need to do for the entire project and give us an estimate 3 months in advance. And shit like that, basically. So it was actually really interesting. Like I say, everyone came out of it like, fucking hell, like, thanks. Thanks for that. It gets, yeah, so I'm pretty proud of myself. I'm pretty proud of myself. I think one of my skills in life, I have 2 skills in life, 3 skills. I'm quite good at sitting back. I have more than 3. I'm quite good at sitting back and like analysing moods. So I'm quite good at going, right, you said that because you think this. and like trying to like reduce back. Why are you acting the way you're acting? And I think that's a really good thing to do if you're ever in like meetings and stuff, is if someone's saying something, it's not necessarily because they're arguing this thing, it's because they're arguing this other thing, but they don't want you to know that thing. So often people will argue about things because they're insecure about something else. So like quite regularly they'll be so like standoffish because they're insecure about the fact that actually they might have been wrong, but they can't admit that because that would mean having to admit, you know what I mean? So you need to kind of see that and then frame your argument and your approach in order to kind of make them feel like they can back down without being wrong. You know what I mean? That's one thing I'm really good at. One thing I'm really good at is just watching how everyone's behaving. The second thing I'm really good at is figuring out how to attack that weakness. And like the third thing is just being like really quick on my feet, basically. I can't remember what the third thing was. But Laura hates it. Laura says that she doesn't like arguing with me. Or like if we're in a discussion about stuff. Because she'll bring up something she's read in a newspaper and we'll start to discuss it. And I'm really good at being like, this is the first time I've heard of this thing. I'm going to apply a load of shit that I know from over here, just tangentially related. And then like discuss back and like argue back and we'll have like a discussion. She's like, how do you do, like I can't think that quickly. And I'm like, girl, you're going to be a solicitor. You need to be able to do that. But yeah, so it's been a really fun day. But it's been one of them days where you like effectively have one thing in the middle that defines it, and then after that I was the least productive thing I've ever done. Like it was the least productive afternoon ever because I effectively was like kind of amped from that meeting. Coming out of a high, being like, I just fucking succeeded in something. Because there's lots of things that I've come to at this place and I've wanted to change. And I'm like making change code-wise. The code is basically my world now. I can make whatever changes I want there. I'm trying to make changes architecture-wise. I'm trying to make changes deployments-wise. I'm trying to make changes the way that things work. And I think it's really easy to spot problems and try and like root cause them and figure out like, what is this? Because it's very easy when you're trying to flippantly avoid something is go, oh, here's a thing, here's something we all kind of agree on. I'm going to say that this is because of this and fix that thing and not this thing. But really what you want to do is go, oh, down 4 levels, that thing down here is a root cause that's having this effect. Anyway, I'm going to stop preaching to you about how fucking cool I am in meetings and retros. The problem is we didn't get on to everything else bad in the retro because this one thing, to be fair, it's probably the biggest one thing. Everything else has kind of already been discussed. Railroaded the whole thing. But I find it interesting where... So the reason the retrospective was interesting was because basically, whenever a bad point was raised, the person at the top of the funnel would try and like wash it away like it wasn't a bad point. I'm like, that's not the point of a retrospective. A retrospective is that we're all supposed to point out things that we thought didn't go very well, and then like how we can approach them. And then we're supposed to come to you with like things that we want you to change, so that we can work more effectively. But it's like this, like, oh, here's a bad thing. Oh yeah, that's not really a problem. Oh yeah, we meant to do that. Like, but we didn't, though, did we? So, what? Something's wrong here. Let's address that, please. But it's bizarre because it's effectively like having your boss in your retro and then being asked to say things that you thought were bad. You know, and it takes a very strong-willed person, I think, to do that honestly, in a way where we think that a lot of the problems lie with you, effectively. Or, not necessarily him, but what he represents, which is like the top of the funnel. The problem is that things aren't being funneled down properly. We're actually quite good when we get to here, but by that point it's already too late because we should have done it here. But we don't get silent there because it's too far up the funnel. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to shut up talking. Not sure how much of that I'm supposed to say, but I said it. Like I say, that's my advice to people is sit back, watch what people are saying and what they're really saying, and then approach what they're really saying, not what they're saying. You know? And don't let people steamroll you. If you think you're right about something, if you're in a meeting, or in any kind of discussion, any scenario in the world ever, if you think you're right, and everyone else doesn't think you're right, then mention it. Because either you're wrong, and you learn that you're wrong, and then you can know in future, or you're right, and then you all do the right thing, or you don't discuss it, and then you live the rest of your life basically going, oh, I knew this wouldn't work, oh, I knew we should have done it this way, oh, blah, 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 blah. And no one likes that guy. Alright? No one likes that guy. Don't be that guy. Yeah. Advice with Jamie. Laura's got a brief soiree after work, so I'm going to go upstairs and do some programming. Most importantly as well, be prepared to back down. If you're wrong, admit you're wrong when you realise you're wrong. That's the last bit as well, which I do. Happens very rarely, but I do. Awesome. Well, that was a lot more trivial to fix than I thought it would be. That thing that I was struggling with last night, so I didn't really look at it. I was getting all ready to try lots of different things, dig into the core. Maybe the core idea of caching these clients wasn't going to work. And then no, I just changed how the DI worked and that was it. Living the fucking dream, boys. So, I'm going to create my PRs. I'm currently raising tickets for my backlog to cover some stuff that I need to do in this world. I don't think any of it's important enough to do now, particularly, so I can live without it for a bit. But I want to make sure I've got all the deets down. Because I'm in the world at the moment, so I want to basically do a brain dump what it needs to be, but it's not important for me to spend time doing it now, and then I can start picking up new stuff, which is exciting new stuff. I'm hungry though, so I'm going to have my apple, which I didn't have at lunchtime. So the next chunk of work is listening to, so this is what I'm going to be doing on Atlas, is listening to the events that are being thrown by my function, and then processing those requests. I need to configure all the data basically. I've got to start punting some data into blob storage and all that kind of shit. It's going to be fun AF. I've just got to figure out a plan of attack for it. But it's basically all in the repository service, which is good because that means on my laptop I'm going to take a look at, is it worth it? Because we're about to go to .NET Core 3. Is .NET Core 3.0 officially out yet? September it is. Yeah, my laptop, I think I've got to stop doing development on my laptop for a little bit. Unless I start doing like some faffy stuff, but the next chunk of work is going to be quite involved. To be fair, it is only the repository service, so it's not like I need to spin all the microservices. But I hate developing things that are just message bus based, because it's so much harder to like prep the data ready for testing and all that kind of shit, you know? I feel like I need to take a step back from it though, just for a tad, just for a little bit of a break, because I'm not being productive at ATM. Actually, I can go one better than that. I'm going to draw some stuff. Drawing! Love it! I'm going to draw out the workflows for this next chunk of work, because I don't think I've done that yet. I think I did the bit previous to this bit, but this second half basically I haven't worked out. So there's going to be a number of message buses, potentially new microservices as well, going to start kicking up. That'd be interesting. I haven't spun up an entire new microservice in this world for a long time. This constitutes a break, right? Just doing some architecture drawings. Is that okay? That sound okay? And if I'm really not being productive with that, then I will do some play some Xbox or something until Laura gets back. That's for absolute banter. So I'm watching YouTube videos right at the moment, and an ad's just come up for, I see them all the fucking time, for just here's a training thing to see how you can get into advertising and just make so much money. And these two absolute fucking gumbers are there on holiday somewhere drinking a cocktail. Who the fuck are you two? You know, I don't know who you are. Do you reckon I could do this? Do you reckon I could just make a YouTube video and be like, yo, just like send me some fucking Bitcoin down here, boys, and I'll teach you how to make an advert exactly like this one. Because obviously we know what we're doing. Why are these ads never very good? There's nothing thought-provoking about this. I mean, I'm talking about it on YouTube. Fuck, they beat me. Man, them adverts are a dime a dozen, and they're already, always, all you need to do that, right, is rent a nice car, or just have a nice car, and then film yourself in front of it and be like, God damn, my life is so swag. All you need to do, if you want to be as swaggity ass as me, is get the frick onto this link down here, and I'll teach you how to do an advert on Facebook. You're gonna make money. I have gone insane. I'll wait for Laura to get back. I'm bored. Next bit of work I need to do is just such a just shitload of shit to do. I've got to take an event that's coming on the bus. I've got to validate that it's real. that it's like configured properly. Validate that it's configured properly. Then I need to kick off a saga for it. Then the saga needs to go off and sort out all the code. And then potentially kick off another, once that's finished, it's got to kick off another saga and another microservice, most likely. It's just so much garbage work. It's just mapping commands all the way around. Raising an event here, capture an event, map it to a command, do something, get a response, raise another event, yay! God damn it. I'm just getting ready for work, but I find it really cute how low down this little patch is that Laura clears so that she can see herself to put her contact lenses in. It's so much smaller than me. This morning, and kind of like growing over the past couple of days, I've had this like strange feeling of like dread and like anxiousness. Can't really put my finger on why, but it kind of feels like, you know, when you are preparing for like an interview or a job interview or something, and you're like, you've got something coming that day, and you're like, you work yourself up for it, and you're like, I just want to get this out of the way, but there's nothing to get out of the way. It's not like there's something happening, like a set point in time where I can just race to and sort that out, you know? So I'm not sure what this is, but it's kind of like this weird like stress that's getting in the back of my head, and I'm like, what is this? Because I can't figure out like what it is or what's causing it. I don't know how to fix it, you know? Today is not a good day for me ticking off things in my to-do list, but if there's one thing I can do, it's buy a light bulb for our new lamp. Check that motherfucker out, but it doesn't come with a light bulb. So your boy JP's in town. He's got a snooker queue, you know what this means. I'm gonna go play some snooker with Josh. I haven't seen Josh in about a year. I haven't spoken to him in about a year either. So I'm really fucking looking forward to this. I'm amped. Late one, it's about 11:10, still heading back to the car. Fucking brilliant time. I can't believe it's been about a year since I've met up with Josh. So much fucking fun. It's so good. Just been chatting for ages. Played snooker, which is pretty good. Played 2 games as well. We weren't actually that bad to say we haven't played for a year. Yeah, we were banging out some of that, and then we were just like catching up on everything we've been doing, because obviously a year's passed, a lot's happened, a lot's changed. God damn it. And we went somewhere, we played snooker for a bit, then we went somewhere else for another drink. And we're just like wailing away, laughing, crying, laughter. Oh god. And there's other people in that bar just watching us like, what are they doing? Are they like pissed? And we're like, no, just had 3 ginger beers. We're just having a whale of a time. Fuck me, that was so much fun. I need to do that again. Don't let it be a year next time, Jibber. Make it sooner. Anyway, I'm going to head back to the car. What else has happened today? I was doing some deployment. I was actually spinning a couple of plates today. I fixed some cores issues, JWT token issues. We've been deploying to production and having some issues with the firewalls. And it turns out that the health check isn't using the same protocol as the real thing. It's like doing a health check probably over HTTP, but it's using, obviously it's a message bus, it's using AMQPS, which is annoying, but I'll fix that tomorrow. So tomorrow's problem. I'm going to go home, I'm going to make myself a cup of tea to soothe my throat, probably watch some YouTube videos or something just to wind down. Laura's going to be in bed by now. Yeah, hope you enjoyed this video, ladies and gentlemen. It's been had a bit of a ramble yesterday, so long one. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll catch you later.